Hey everyone, okay, I'm gonna do a quick video. This kind of goes against my normal belief, but I got a question on my Snapchat Q&A. So Brian K019, I open it up every day for an hour for questions back and forth. But somebody asked me, can you get a six-pack without training abs? I'm going to go into this on both sides because I've done a full video on how to train to get a six-pack, and I do believe that training properly is going to massively speed up your results on getting six-pack, and it's also going to determine the shape of how your abs look. So if you look at mine, for example, they're very kind of detailed and etched because I trained them for years. I actually had like an ab day in college where I just go in and train abs like you would train legs or chest. But you can get them without ever training abs. I've worked with people in the past and I've worked with clients who, by purely fixing their diet and fixing their training, they've been able to get abs from that. So number one, if your diet's not in place, you're not going to have abs. It doesn't matter if you train them every single day and do thousands and thousands of reps and get good tension on them, you're not going to get them if your diet's not in place. So number one is making sure that you're in, normally I recommend a calorie deficit, but making sure that the program is very specific to what you're looking to do. So for example, in my online program, it's very specific towards building muscle and losing body fat, or toning up and losing body fat. So your body's going to be in a deficit through either training or through your nutrition, or both, depending on the case. What you want to do is making sure that you're not eating too many calories, and you're not eating too many calories from, say, carbohydrates, so that your body can get into its fat burning zone faster than if you've mistimed calories, you've mistimed intake, you've mistimed carbs. So number one thing you need to look at is making sure you're not eating too many calories. If you have a maintenance calorie of, say, 2,000 calories and you're eating 5,000 calories, it's going to be very unlikely that you're going to be able to get abs and get your body fat down low enough. Some cases will. Some people have such a massively high sympathetic nervous system and a very high fast metabolism, so-called hard gainers, who can eat 5,000 calories and get abs because that's the way their genetic makeup is. But for the majority of people, they can't. So you got to be into a calorie deficit or in calorie maintenance, which is what I prefer, and then get your deficit from training. So things like tension style training while you're eating at maintenance is going to massively help you reduce body fat, which is going to get your six-pack out. It's going to get your abs out, because the lower your body fat is in your stomach, the more you're going to be able to see your abs. 95% of people have abs, they're just underneath their layer of body fat. There are 5% few that just genetically don't have them and have to train them as well, but you're probably not that person if you're watching this video. You're in the very, very small minority of people who just have a flat stomach, that don't have abs and can't get them until they train them. But for 95% of people, you have them. They're just underneath. You just haven't got body fat low enough to show them. So making sure that you're in a deficit through eating maintenance and getting a deficit from training, or from eating a calorie deficit, and then timing things like your carbohydrates at insulin sensitive times. So like first thing in the morning or post workout, if you're following just a normal training program. If you're following a tension style program with high intensity, you have a bit more of a leeway and a luxury with this. You can actually time your carbohydrates different times, because your metabolism is going to be so elevated from the increased fiber tears from working for tension and then working for high intensity for your cardio. You're actually going to be, you can be a little bit more liberal with your carbohydrate intake. But again, it depends on the program. So number one, get your diet on track. So either get your eating at maintenance and get your calorie deficit from training, or get into a calorie deficit through your nutrition plan if you're not training that much. That's number one. Number two, the right training program. As I talked about, depending on the program you're following, this is why it's very hard, and I struggled for years when somebody would come for a nutritional plan and in a training program, because they should be synced up. It's very hard to get one from one person and one from another person, because your training should complement your nutrition and your nutrition should complement your training. That's why I designed my online program, because the nutrition is in place with the training and they overlap and they're symbiotic with one another. The same in my GA program, they're based off one another because you're covering it from all angles then. So in your training program, what I recommend you do is working in a tension style program. So where you're working for time under tension on the muscle, because time under tension, say for example, bicep curl, 2-3 seconds on the way down, second hold, 2-3 seconds on the way up, second hold, is going to elicit more fiber tears than just moving the weight. Tearing fibers down is what elevates your metabolism. Your metabolism is like a fire. The harder the fire is burning, the more calories you're going to burn. So that's what you want to do when you're weight training. You want to tear as many fibers as possible through tension style training, And that's going to give you an elevation in metabolism. So while you're sitting at home reading or watching Game of Thrones or whatever you're doing, you're still burning calories because your body's using the calories you're eating for repair of the muscle because you've torn it increasingly so with tension style training during the workout. So now not only are you burning calories during your workout, you're going to burn them while you're resting at home as well. And you're eating your spaced meals and meal timing every 2.5, 3 hours or so that your metabolism stays elevated, you stay full, your blood sugar stays stable, and you feel better through the day. You know, the most feedback I've got from my online programs, people are like, I feel amazing. You know, the first thing I get from people, and I love this is my favorite feedback. You know, I get people saying they've dropped 1 stone, 2 stone, and I love that too. But when people are like, I feel amazing, I'm like, fuck yeah. I was like, that's number one. Because when you feel amazing, it's really easy to get everything else in place. You know, by eating every 2.5, 3 hours, cutting out processed food, eating clean foods, eating at your maintenance, and then working for tension when you're training, you're going to feel fucking great. You know, because you're getting enough food, you're keeping blood sugar stable, your energy is high, your brain has enough glycogen, you feel amazing. And that allows you to stay on track long term because you're getting results. Your body's nearly dropping body fat despite itself because you feel so good and your energy level is higher. You know, so working for tension style training. And then the last one is your high intensity training. Both systems work great. Low intensity, steady state cardio and high intensity interval training are both great methods. You know, it depends on which you prefer. You know, some people like apples, some people like oranges. I prefer to eat more calories and be a little bit more liberal with food and do high intensity training because you get a better bang for your buck. Because you're getting your heart rate higher, you're going to have more lipolysis where you release the fat from the cells and you're going to be able to burn it through the body fat quicker. And if you're trying to build muscle, you're going to be doing less time on it, so you're actually going to preserve more muscle doing high intensity cardio. But that being said, if you're in a massive calorie deficit and you like low intensity cardio, that's going to work for you as well. It's context dependent. I prefer to have calories higher, eat more food for me and my clients, and do high intensity cardio because that gives you a better bang for your buck. It allows you to build more muscle, preserve more muscle, lose more body fat, and eat more food. So that's my main tips. If you're trying to get abs, that's how you do it. You can train them as well, it'll speed up the process, but the reality is getting your training in place, getting your nutrition in place, that's number one. Everything else is going to be secondary. The little details and echelons you have in your abs is going to be down to your training, but you can get them alone through purely diet and training alone. So I hope this video helps. Please like and share the page. I'll be replying to comments in the next 24 hours.